Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Broku. Welcome back to another video, and this is a crossover video, kind of going through of what a crossover between Black Clover and My Academia would look like. I'm doing this video because, one, Black Clover and My Academia are two of my favorite series, but also I do think they would fit well together on a crossover. Both their main characters had similar situations where they were born in a world filled with powered-up people, and they were not powered themselves. And also, the two creators, Yuki Tabata and Horikoshi of My Academia, they are actually friends in real life. So that would be cool for them to maybe get together and do a crossover together and to see how their characters would interact. So this is what this video is. And honestly, I do need to say though, that this is not to fit the exact power scale. It's just to fit this narrative. I will be taking into account that generally the Magic Knights are stronger than the heroes in My Academia because they just are. They've shown greater feats and they're faster. But I'm not going to go into the exact calculations and stuff like that. And I will say this is an alternate timeline for both Black Clover and My Academia just to fit them in together better, easier. And also, guys, I'm not a voice actor, so if I do voice the lines, I'm not going to do it in a voice acting manner, because it's just going to be cringe. So I'm just going to read it. Guys, I'm not a professional. This is just, I want to do this for fun. And I just want to say that shout out to Creative Ladka. He's the one who created this thumbnail. Go follow him on Twitter. If you need a commission done, go through him. He is very good at what he does. I really love this thumbnail of Asta and Deku together. So anyways, guys, with that being said, let's get into this crossover. My Clover Academia, Black Clover X My Academia, whatever you want to call it. But anyway. All for One is sitting in his prison cell, bound to his room. He's looking out through the window at the guard staring at him. He smiles, and the guard continues his pace across the other side of the room. He begins to think of what he had heard would happen with Shigaraki and the League of Villains. Supposedly, they had been wiped out by the Meta Liberation Army. He had heard rumors of Shigaraki's survival, but in the month since, nothing had come to surface. The floor creaked to his left, and he looked over while asking who was there. A tall, slim, black figure crept from the shadows. Call me a friend for now. What the hell are you? Unbind. The devil's word magic had completely unbound All for One from his chair, and for the first time in days he stood up, stretching out his legs, looking at this figure confused. Complete recovery, the devil uttered once again. A pleasant smile engulfed All for One's face. He felt whole once again. He was in his prime. He was just completely normal again. It had been years since his battle with All Might left him into a scarred shell of his former self. He flexed his arm and began to try to activate his quartz. Now just how did you... Gift of magic. A small, dark, glowing cube floated towards the villain. He reached for it with his hands, and the cube dispersed into a small cloud of energy and engulfed him. It was as if he had reached the apex of vertigo. He had never felt so good, so powerful before. This energy, it's amplifying my strength. It's amplifying my stored quirks. What is this? The devil just looked down at his newfound ally and smiled. Now we are switching the scene to UA. Deku has just walked out of a long day of class. He was pondering the news that he had just heard. Rumors of Shigaraki and the League of Villains dying in a city far away. The Meta Liberation Army since gaining popularity among the populace. While a lot of his unease had left his mind since the news, only more questions arose. What would this mean? Two groups claiming to be righteous, heroes, and the liberators? Will this lead to a great conflict? Ever since the introduction of quirks, the world had been ever changing. Whatever may happen, he had a lot of work to do. He had just uncovered a new aspect of One for All, Black Whip. He looked down at his hands, wondering what else may lie inside of him. Screams echoed in the distance. An explosion went off in the heart of the city. Dozens of people running away from a large entity, a demon-like person, with a third eye on their forehead, surrounded by some sort of dark energy aura. What kind of quirk is this? He looked around. No other heroes in the vicinity. It was time for Deku to prove himself once more. He activated 8% of One for All and ran towards this being, and he began to fight it. But the being was overpowering him, forcing Deku into using 20% of his quirk, in which Deku would overpower the demon and defeating him. Upon its defeat, the third eye would magically evaporate into thin air. The person would convert back to a normal human. He picked up the civilian and began to look for the nearest place for help. Caught in his forward gaze were 3 more giant demon-like figures approaching him, almost as if they were attracted to their now lost kin. Instead of just raging out and shooting the mysterious beams out of their hand, they were now using quirks. Deku could tell that this weird energy was augmenting the power of these people's quirks. With an unconscious civilian in hand, his first instinct was now to run, but as he took his first step in retreat, a controlled explosion went off in the near distance, blinding the 3 beasts, and then the smoke cleared. Bakugo, Todoroki, and Kirishima were now facing off against these 3 beasts, and in a short amount of time made quick work of them, converting them back to their human forms. Guys, thanks, but what's going on here? This energy, it's making them stronger, turning them into something else. This isn't good. We can't even go all out on them, uttered Kirishima. An ambient noise boomed from behind them, a portal opening up from the wall on the building. Kirogiri, shouted the group. But what came next shocked them. It wasn't Kirogiri. It wasn't the League of Villains. They didn't survive. Out came a group of individuals wearing odd, long, dark red robes. And lastly, a man with green and brown hair and a blue diamond around his neck, walking through the portal before closing it. Alright guys, you better make sure you don't lose me or this stone, or else we're stuck in this world. Now don't forget to keep a lookout for all the pretty girls here. Finral had combined his spatial magic with the magic stone, granting him access to other worlds via this combination. Before Deku could even ask of their identity, the group dispersed in a quick flash had defeated the several beasts in the vicinity that Deku had not noticed due to the distraction of their arrival. Deku was in awe of their speed and their power. It was as if they were in a completely different level. High-tier pro heroes in their own right. Asta and Sally then walked up to Deku to introduce themselves to these 4 teens, noticing that they had powers of this world. Before we came to this world, I studied it. We know you have powers called quirks. I developed a device that gives you magic. The only thing is I designed it so it would work with the quirks. So if you don't have your own quirk, it won't work. But fortunately, the 4 of you do. So here, inject this into your arm. But wait, our friends. We need to help them and bring them here. We can help with that. Both Marks and Finral, they walked towards Deku and proceeded with the combo spell, combining Marks' memory magic with Finral's spatial magic, causing all of Class 1A to be teleported to their location. With the class gathered, they took Sally's magical assist items and were enveloped with magic power, the magic increasing their physical abilities as well as amplifying the power of their quirk. Deku looked down at his hands upon injection. It had been nearly a minute, and he just felt nothing. The device wasn't working, and Sally noticed the phenomena. You do have a quirk, right? Deku looked down again, embarrassed, bringing back the memories of his quirkless childhood. Well, yeah, I do, but it's not in the conventional way. This is weird. Maybe the success rate isn't 100%. Maybe you should step aside and focus on aiding the civilians, and we will take care of the rest. And then after, I'll come by and study your body. First no quirk, now no magic. Deku, for the first time since gaining his quirk from All Might, felt left out in a big way. He began to look towards the screams in the city. Now wait just a minute. You don't have a quirk? In a world full of quirks, huh? Sounds about right. Asta smiled at Deku and moved a step closer, grabbing for his hand and began to shake it. My name is Asta. I was born without magic. Deku was shocked. He even noticed Asta running around destroying the beasts, but he was doing that without magic? How? I trained all my life, and one day I was blessed with these anti-magic swords. This is my Demon Dweller sword. If you don't have magic, and you're strong enough, I'm sure you're going to be able to wield it. Asta reached out the sword, handing it towards Deku, and Deku would reach for it as well. And despite Asta's warnings of its weight, Deku quickly slumped over trying to wield this dark blade. Deku had used 5% of One for All just to even wield it properly. And then Deku looked at this blade with wonder. We must hurry. They're getting stronger by the minute. The Royal Knights and the now powered up Class 1A would head off into the city to save the day. Now we see All for One and the Devil. They're standing atop a building looking down upon the mass destruction of the city. So thousands of them have been converted to our side. More or less, my magic was weakened in my battle with the Magic Knights. I can't thank you enough for my gifts. With our plans going further into place, I will take the ownership of this world, and you the others. And then, All for One was interrupted by a burst of flames to his face. What is the big deal, you bastard? You're back, and you're okay? How could this have happened? What the hell are you? All for One dove fist first at Endeavor, pummeling in his cheek and knocking him back hundreds of feet. All for One then jumped off the building and was now walking slowly towards Endeavor. You didn't have a chance against me then. You're definitely not going to have a chance against me now. All for One then activated some of his strength augmenting quirks and a water quirk, dousing out the flames of Endeavor before landing another punch in his chest. Going back and forth, Endeavor was too weak and too slow to take down the big bad. He wasn't going to last much longer. With All for One compressing a large beam of energy into his hands and then launching it, Endeavor put the last of his power and got into his stance. Endeavor punched forward, and the beam was completely split in two, causing All for One to jump away from the blast. Both Endeavor and All for One were shocked of these events, but Endeavor noticed a dark mist emitting from the area in front of him, and heard loud footsteps from behind. Now just who the hell is this big ugly freak with the massive arm? As Yami puffed out a cloud of smoke. No, why can't I be a hero again? All Might thought to himself, looking down at the city being wrecked. The vacancy of the symbol of peace was definitely felt in this part of the city. The beasts were engulfing humans left and right, and getting bigger and bigger, and stronger and stronger. All Might sat on the edge and embraced his hands to his face. The symbol of peace? All Might? Questioned a voice from behind, and All Might noticed a small, skinny boy. My name is Julius. I'm not of this world. Unfortunately, evil from my world has leaked into yours. And this is something that is my fault. I could have prevented it if I had won that one day. I have done some digging since I have arrived in your world, and I found out you were the symbol of peace. And then you just stopped. Your power, your quirk, is gone, isn't it? You see, I lost almost all of my magic too, but I'm slowly earning it back. Well, at least you get to earn it back. My power? It's gone for good. The dying embers being turned into large fires for the next generation. The power's not mine anymore. You see, All Might, time is a funny thing. I have enough stored time in me, so I can just give just 15 minutes for you. It was 6 years ago, right? That's when you were at your strongest? Juliuson lifted his hand, facing it towards All Might, as All Might looked confused. All Might's shriveled stomach reversed, and thus his giant muscle form returned. I haven't felt this great since that one day. The city needs to see the symbol of peace just once more. My time magic, it's powerful, but it's not abundant enough yet to make as much of an impact on the battlefield as you can now. I will stand and watch these amazing powers of magic and quirk mixed together. Plus Ultra. Now, as we see throughout this battle, you'd see many different fights going on. You would see things like the Magic Knights fighting the demons, the Class 1A fighting the demons, Asta and Deku fighting back to back. You would see the pro heroes coming in fighting the demons, and then the Royal Knights giving them magic items. But also, one thing I do want to emphasize is that at one point, Mirio will come into the fray. So Mirio is running through the city, trying to save civilians, and trying to hold off these demons. Now, if you don't remember, in My Hero Academia in the manga, when he fights Overhaul, he's able to hold his own against 2 quirk users at once, without even having a quirk. So just Mirio without his quirk, with just his physical strength, his physical stats, are superhuman levels. So he probably wouldn't be able to defeat these demons, but he would be able to pretty much like hold them off, maybe survive a hit from them, maybe hit them when they're off guard and do some damage to them. But there's going to be a point where Vanessa is surrounded by a bunch of different demon beasts, and she's gotten separated from the Royal Knights, and they're surrounding her. She's trying to move them away with her threads. Rogue, the red thread of fate cat, is protecting her, but she's starting to run out of mana. So as Vanessa is about to die, she's running out of magic, Rouge shoots his thread across the city block, and this red thread of fate touches Mirio. In an instant, his quirk returns, and Mirio with his new quirk is now dashing across the battlefield, destroying the demons that were nearly killing Vanessa as he was pulled by the thread towards her. And he defeated the demon beasts, and then Vanessa gave Mirio a magic item to also give him magic. So now you have Mirio back, which is really good. So we have Yami and a now amped Endeavor are taking on All for One, and then once they're overpowering him, the devil joins the battle. Endeavor is eventually defeated as they are overpowered, and Yami is solo holding off the two of them. Of course they're overpowering him, but he's just barely holding them off. Just in the nick of time though, All Might shows up, finally in his prime, and they are teaming up. This is the team up I'd really love to see in Black Clover and My Academia, is Yami and All Might. The two big Chad-esque guys that are just pretty much overpowered. So Yami's taking All for One, and All Might is taking the devil. And I would love to see this fight. I think it'd be really cool. And so basically what also happens is Asta and Deku also join the fight. Asta uses his black form and fights the devil alongside All Might, as his anti-magic properties and Asta's mastery of it, or experience with it, would be needed to take on the devil. Meanwhile, Deku holds the Demon Dweller sword and channels his one-for-all energy into it, which this allows Deku to use more than 100% of one-for-all. This allows Deku to also use the anti-magic, sort of like a quasi-Black Deku form, which amplifies his physical traits. And also, this lets him use Black Whip, but turns Black Whip into an anti-magic Black Whip, making Deku a very versatile anti-mage on this field. So Deku and Yami are going against All for One, and Asta, All Might are going against the devil. They're going back and forth fighting, and finally it ends with a giant plus ultra between the four, and the devil is seemingly defeated, and All for One is finally defeated as well. But it turns out the devil, of course, the devil heals himself, because you have to destroy his heart. Yami, Asta, and Deku have been fighting for way too long. They're too weak now. So All Might picks up the Demon Slayer sword, mixes it one for all with the anti-magic, and gets his anti-magic state. Kind of like a Black All Might. Even though it's odd saying Black All Might, Black All Might. And this anti-magic state All Might will defeat the devil once and for all. We get final goodbyes between the different characters, interactions between Yami and Aizawa, and honestly guys, that's really it. Because, I mean, I kind of told this like as a story at parts, and other parts I kind of explained, because this really is hard to compress what could be a movie crossover into a, 20-minute video? So if the movie's 90 minutes, trying to compress it into 20 minutes, not really going to work. So yeah, this is not like the best way of storytelling or compressing a movie into a story, but I think this is something that could be pretty cool. I got a lot of suggestions to do this sort of video, so I just kind of, quickly threw together a story and then put this out there. I will admit I did not put a lot of effort into this story, because I'm kind of busy creating my own stories to write a story of 2 series that already exist. But this is my shot at it. Let me know you guys' thoughts down below. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...